They say every hero's world hides a nightmare. And in the land of Oo, that nightmare has a name, the Lich. He wasn't born to conquer, he was born to end. Not out of anger, not out of hate, but because his very existence is death itself. This isn't just the story of a villain, it's the story of an apocalypse wearing a smile. Before time had a name, before the first spark of light, there was him, a whisper in the void. And when life tried to bloom, the Lich was born to destroy it. He is not a monster, he is a law of the universe, the end that comes for all beginnings. There was once a hero named Billy, fearless, pure, legendary. He faced the Lich with the strength of all living souls, and still he fell. His fists broke mountains, but not death itself. And when his story ended, the Lich simply waited, patient, smiling. For a time, they thought they'd trapped him, encased in ancient amber, sealed within a sacred tree of the Candy Kingdom. But how do you imprison something that has no beginning or end? Even in silence, he whispered, and one poor soul listened. It was just a snail, harmless, innocent, until it felt his voice, until it carried the Lich's soul. And with that, the world's oldest evil was set free again. Finn and Jake didn't know what they were chasing. They thought it was a monster, but it was the end of everything. The closer they got, the darker the world became, and the colder the air felt. At the heart of the world lies the well of power. To drink from it is to touch eternity. To fall into it is to drown in infinity. And the Lich stood before it, smiling. Princess Bubblegum fell, not into water, but into death itself. The Lich found her heart and made it his throne. She smiled, but her eyes were not her own anymore. A bear came to Finn once, innocent, quiet, but behind those glassy eyes was a purpose. He carried the Enchiridion right into the hands of the undead. The Lich wore Billy's face. He spoke in the voice of a friend. That's how evil hides, not in darkness, but in trust. When Finn broke the book, the universe itself cracked. One world wasn't enough to hold the Lich, so he made infinite ones to end. Finn's wish was simple. I wish the Lich never existed. But in a world built on balance, erasing evil erases meaning. And so, life broke again, into Farmworld. When Finn put on the crown, he didn't know it held memories. 1,000 screens frozen inside, all waiting to melt. In the time room, Jake made his wish, not for himself, but for Finn. And that's why heroes survive. Not because they win, but because they care. Inside the time room, time itself refused to move. Every clock froze, every echo stopped breathing. The Lich was trapped between moments, neither alive nor dead, only waiting. Waiting for the next crack in reality to let him out. When heroes sleep, evil dreams. And in his dreams, the Lich remembered what it felt like to destroy. Not with rage, but with peace. Because to him, silence is perfection. They thought the prison of time could hold him, but death doesn't need a door to escape, just a memory. And when Jake touched the cosmic threads, the memory of death returned. Prismo, the Wishmaker, was never supposed to die, but the Lich doesn't kill people, he kills meaning. And when Prismo's body fell, the stars dimmed for the first time. The Citadel was built to hold monsters, but when the Lich arrived, it became a monument to failure. He whispered once, and every prisoner became his army. When Finn thought he destroyed him, he only changed him. The Lich's body burned, and from his ashes, a child was born, Sweet Pea, an innocent smile carrying the soul of the apocalypse. Even peace couldn't hide what he was. Inside Sweet Pea, the whispers never stopped. And when anger returned, the world saw the Lich once more. He spoke again. Before there was time, before there was anything, there was me. It wasn't arrogance, it was memory. Before the Lich, there was the comet, a being of pure chaos. The comet struck Earth, and from its dust rose every end that ever would be. The Lich wasn't born, he was remembered. Finn and Jake crossed universes to end him. But what can you end if it lives in all worlds at once? The Lich wasn't in one body anymore. He was everywhere. Every universe he entered, he ended. Every light he touched, he erased. And still, he found no joy. Because what do you do when you've killed everything, even purpose? Even when he was destroyed, pieces of him lived. A single hand crawling through the multiverse, searching, whispering, waiting. Sweet Pea grew, but so did the darkness inside. Every night he fought a voice that said, "You were born to destroy." And every morning he whispered back, "I choose to live." The Lich was never truly defeated, because evil doesn't die. It sleeps, changes faces, waits for time to forget. And time always forgets. But even gods get tired of their servants. When the Lich stood before Galb, his master, his god, he expected reward, and found only silence. "For ages I built mountains of bodies in your name," he cried. "But you gave me nothing, not even peace." For the first time, the Lich didn't sound evil. He sounded lost, and chaos doesn't forgive despair. Gulp turned his gaze toward his servant, and in a single breath, erased him. No screams, just silence. And so, the Lich finally found what he wanted, the end. Not of others, but of himself. And in that silence, maybe, just maybe, he smiled. Every world needs its monster. Because without the shadow, light forgets its purpose. The Lich wasn't evil. He was balance. Legends fade, stories twist, but somewhere in the cracks of forgotten dreams, his voice still whispers, "You can't kill what was never alive." And so ends the story of the Lich, the monster that outlived gods, heroes, and even himself. But if you ever feel a chill while watching Adventure Time, that's not nostalgia. That's him, still watching.